Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Katie, and I'm going to be doing for Marker Monday, episode 2, we're going to be looking at the Keebor set of 80 alcohol markers. I got these from Amazon. I'm going to be starting with, I have to kind of mess with the focus here. I'm going to be starting with this combo. Out of the cheap alcohol markers that I have purchased on Amazon, I have like the Arteza 60 set. I have this set. I have the Shuttle 88. I have the CaliArt 100. And I think that's it. I hope I'm not missing any. These had the most color combos that went together, if that makes sense. So one day when I had some time, I took out, I'm just picking a hair off of the tip. The outside of the markers tend to like cling things to them, like my cat hairs. I took all these sets out one day, stamped the same set of images several times, and then on each card of images, I tried to come up with as many good like matching color combos that I could out of just using that alcohol marker set by itself. And this turned out to be the best looking one. I think I tried to come up with like a red combo, an orange combo, a yellow combo, etc., going through the rainbow. And this one had the best looking overall feel, if that makes sense. So if you're looking for, just to start playing with alcohol markers, I would recommend this set. Just search for Keebor 80 on Amazon. I'll actually link it down below because I can find it on Amazon wherein I purchased it, and link it down below. It's good for just kind of starting to play with them. The tip does say fine. It has a fine tip and the chisel, which I do end up using for the background of this card. The fine is not so fine. It's not as fine as the others. It's actually pretty smushy. I wouldn't go as far to say it's a brush tip, but it's definitely, you can kind of see how I'm laying it down. It spreads pretty quickly. It's not a pointy fine tip. So it makes it very easy to blend and to color, especially bigger areas, not having to use the chisel end of things. So I really like that about these. And the tips are pretty consistent. Usually with alcohol markers, like cheap alcohol markers, some of the tips are not consistent, even though like of markers in the same set. Like the bullet nib end sometimes is squishy, sometimes is sharper, depending on which color. So these are pretty consistent all around. And that one just didn't stamp too great on the very end, so I just filled that in with a black pen. This here is really just kind of my faulty blending. I kind of just scratched the pen around, or the marker, and that's why, I could have made a more circular situation around his face. Other than that, the colors blend just fine, but I made it look stupid because of how I blended it. So that poor octopus's face is kind of strange, but that's my fault, not the marker's fault. I'm just using a 2 gray combo. There's a third WG in the set. You can refer back to the color sheet I showed you in the beginning. But these smaller areas, I'm just doing a 2 blend. I'm going to color both of the cameras the same. This one is a pretty good blend. And then I'm just using the 76 light blue on the camera lens and the bubbles. And I'll actually be adding glossy accents to those later once they're on the card to give them that glossy shine when they dry. And this one I'm just kind of putting the light source on the left side, I guess. And then I'm not really sure if that's what it is, but I made the little clicker thingy, or I don't know, whatever that is, I made it red. It's probably the button, which doesn't necessarily need to be red. I figured that the orange, I don't know, would look good on the middle of the camera. I know I wanted to make it a different color. These two together, it's kind of weird, but also kind of cool looking. The lighter color really washes out the dark one. So when you go over the dark one, it can kind of look a little mottled, but I think it looked kind of good. And so I'm going to add one more color to it and color this fish like a goldfish. 2 oranges that go okay together. It's kind of a dull orange, the darker or the darkest one. I don't love it, but then I can use this light color to kind of wash it out like I did on the camera. Sometimes that looks good and sometimes it's not great. In my experience, I think Copics are the best about not doing that. When you go over a darker color with a lighter color, it doesn't like make it splotchy or mottled. I'm thinking of the word mottled. I don't know if that's a word. Mottled. It sounds right to me. I've been saying it my whole life. But Copics are obviously going to be more expensive. And I've noticed that cheaper alcohol markers will do that. But sometimes it gives it a cool look. Sometimes it's annoying if you're trying to have a cleaner blend. These 2 colors here are not the greatest combination. But again, if you just go over the dark with the light, you can kind of help it blend a little better. And it kind of gives them that little neon look. They are jellyfish, which can look kind of like they're lit up neon. I think they actually are. I feel stupid for not knowing that about jellyfish. I think I know that they don't have a brain, but I think that they like actually glow. That makes sense, right? Anyway. So I figured I would kind of use, I don't really know what clam, is this a clam? What it looks like. I tried to blend this out, these 2 colors. So I'm just going over it several times. Again, it does that mottled thing, kind of splotchy. But I thought it looked kind of cool. It looks like those cherry pineapple popsicles, like the swirl together. That's kind of what it ends up looking like, but that's fine. And then this fish is going to be this blue. This blue combo I really like. And I was actually going to use this blue combo for the background, but I didn't want him to disappear on it. And I also actually had already set aside another 3 blue combo. So there's actually 2 really good 3 blue combinations, 6 markers total, but 2 good 3 marker blue combos that I think are actually really good in this set. So I have finished coloring all of those guys. Aside from, this is the blue background, I'm going to be using the chisel end to kind of waste a whole piece of paper and then cut out part of it. Aside from my coloring on the octopi, because I should have shaded in a circle around his face, that's one of the better purple combos I've actually ever seen in any alcohol markers. Even in Copics, I have a problem with purple combinations, and that's actually a really good purple combo in just this set alone. And across every single set of alcohol markers I own, I have a problem with purple blends. My other favorites are in the tri-blend markers. The Spectrum Noir tri-blends have at least 2 really good purple blends that I like, and those are very hard to come by. So the fact that this set, this cheap random set, has a good purple combo makes me happy. So I cut that out of the new stitched rectangles I got from Lawn Fawn, where the largest one is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, where it actually is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it covers a card base, which I've been trying to find for years, and I guess I just wasn't paying attention. So I just picked that up. So I'm going to die cut those guys out. You don't have to watch that part. That took a while. And then I'm going to do the sentiment on a strip of black. I had used up my last black piece of paper, so I had to grab a new one. So I'm just doing it on the whole piece, and I'll trim it out. I was looking at this because I was annoyed, because I thought that the "you take the best shell-fies" was like a full regular sentiment, not just in parentheses. And I was like, oh, well, that's dumb, because I wanted to just use "you take the best shell-fies." But having your only sentiment on the front be something in parentheses on a Lawn Fawn card doesn't really make sense. I suppose you could. Or you could try to wipe off the 2 parentheses on the end before you stamp it. I just didn't want to do that. So I added Smile, and I'm doing it like from the right, so it's aligned to the right. And then I'm just using some Judykins opaque white embossing powder that I've had for years. I just kind of collect embossing powders and use whatever I have. So I don't have a particular favorite or anything. I'm just using what I've purchased in the last 10 years. Cleaning that up, wiping the surface off. And then I'm going to melt this with my heat gun. I'm just heating it up in the air for a second before I bring it down to the paper. I'm still hesitant on my new fake leather pad background that I put down on my desk to get the heat too close to it because I don't know what it will do. So I'm holding that in the air. And then I'm going to bring out my trimmer and turn this into kind of like a banner. So I'm going to cut that strip, and then I will cut off a piece of it, and I'm going to use my square punch trick. Any 1-inch square punch is good to have on hand to create a banner, so you don't have to do it with scissors and do it wrong and be annoyed. So you just center it, punch, and there you go. You have a banner. Super easy. And you just do it from behind so you can see what you're doing. So what I did on this one, and really just because this is more of a marker focused video for Marker Monday, I probably, if I were just sitting down making a card with a lot of things on it, normally I would stamp like more of the seaweed or extra rocks or extra bubbles, things like that. But I had just put all the stamps in my MISTI and stamped 4 sheets of these. Some of them, the second stamp made everything kind of blurry. I was kind of annoyed, actually, that it wasn't working very well. So I picked the best set of images to color. But I really only have one of everything. Normally, if you're going to make more or make a scene, you would want, like, you know, a few extra rocks, like I said, or seaweed or bubbles or other things. So this card is just going to have, I didn't pre-plan this. It's just going to have, you know, one of each image from the set. I left out the sushi because it didn't really make sense for this. And I know that some fish eat each other, but I don't know why there's a sushi in this set. So I left that out, but I stamped everything else. And so I didn't pre-plan this layout. I'm just kind of going with it. I know that I wanted to stick some things to the background and lift up some things. And so I'm going to stick down my octopi and then lift up their cameras on my dimensionals on some foam tape. And then each fish will get like a bubble or the set of bubbles. And when I have my white pen at the end and I'm doing the accents, the white accents, I add to the, just because the background of the water seemed like it needed more going on, and I added to it with my white pen, and I'm not super happy with it. I think it looks okay, but you can be honest with me and tell me down below if you think it ends up looking stupid. I saw someone on a card they sent me use some white pen accents on like an ocean, and I think she had also used Copics, but she did it very well. It was kind of like ocean foam, so maybe in my scenario here it just doesn't really make sense, but I felt like the background needed something. I hope I didn't completely ruin it. Like I said, I think it looks okay, but you can let me know. So this fishy is going to fill in the left area, and he will get that individual bubble. And we'll offset it to the left so that he doesn't match up too much with the goldfish. And then the jellyfish with her baby. So those are all the pieces that I had. And I think I didn't, oh yeah, I didn't actually stick down the little clam, so I forgot, and I need to glue her down. So I just grabbed my glossy accents, which made me remember that I wanted to glossy accent the bubbles and the camera lens. So I just used that glue, because it was handy. And then I'll fill these in. I love adding glossy accents to anything on a card that will accept it when it dries. It just makes everything look so cool. So then I'm going to carefully avoid the glue I just put down. And I don't know, I'm just kind of making oceany white scribbles. I probably could have done it better, but I felt like the background was just too plain, so I filled it in with white pen. And then I went around and did the accents. So hopefully this gave you some ideas about the cheaper alcohol markers. Again, this set, I'll link it down below. Like I said, probably has the best set of color combinations that you can make out of 80 markers. The other ones even have more, 88 or 100, and this one still had the better combinations. And of course I smeared that. So thank you for watching episode 2 of Marker Monday, and I hope to have many more. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you guys for Watercolor Wednesday. And I hope you're enjoying these series videos, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.